Let's talk about it. That glowing rectangle in your pocket and our relationship with it. This is a story about our attention. Who wants it? Why they want it so badly? And maybe most importantly, how we can start to win it back.
So I'm sure you've heard this one, right? This idea was everywhere a few years back, that our attention spans have shrunk to just 8 seconds, supposedly 1 second shorter than a goldfish. But is there any truth to that, like at all?
Well, good news. It's totally a myth. When researchers actually looked into it, the whole claim was, well, fishy. The data was basically made up. And if you talk to a cognitive psychologist, they'll tell you that the whole idea of an average attention span doesn't even make sense. I mean, think about it. You can get lost in a great movie for 2 hours, but struggle to focus on a boring email for 2 minutes. Our focus depends on what we're doing. So the real issue isn't that our brains are getting weaker, it's that our attention is being systematically mined.
And that brings us right here, to the modern world, which you can basically think of as one giant, nonstop race for the single most valuable resource we have today, your focus.
This quote from the Center for Humane Technology just absolutely nails it. This isn't just about you getting distracted from your work. They call it an extractive attention economy. And that word, extractive, is perfect. It's like our focus is a natural resource being drilled for, and the consequences for all of us are really starting to pile up.
So what are these consequences exactly? Well, the Center for Humane Technology actually put together what they call a ledger of harms. And when you look at the data, it is staggering. Let's just run through a few of the big ones.
Okay, first, children who are cyberbullied are 3 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts than their peers. And you have to remember, online bullying isn't like what happened in the schoolyard. It's public, it can feel permanent, and it follows them everywhere. And get this, researchers at MIT found that on social media, fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news. And why is that? Well, because the lies are often way juicier. They're designed to make you angry or shocked, which makes you hit that share button before you even think.
And this one's really tough. For teen girls, spending more than 5 hours a day on social media is linked to a 66% increased risk of suicide-related outcomes, compared to girls who only spend an hour a day.
And honestly, the list just keeps going. We're seeing studies that show impaired brain development in preschoolers with too much screen time. For us adults, just having your phone on the desk next to you, even if it's turned off, can drain your brain power. It's linked to worse memory, more depression, more sleep problems, and a social environment where anger and outrage just spread like wildfire. The costs are very, very real.
So the big question is, how did we get here? And the most crucial thing to understand is that none of this is an accident. These harms aren't bugs in the system. They are the predictable results of a very sophisticated, intentionally designed persuasion machine.
You know, so many of us grew up with this model for life that's completely backwards. We think, if I do great work, I'll have big success, and then I'll be happy. But as author Neil Pasricha points out, the science shows the exact opposite is true. A positive mindset actually makes you more productive. Happiness comes first. But the persuasion machine flips this on its head, dangling these little bits of happiness and connection as a reward for just a little more engagement.
The science behind all of this actually has a name. It's called persuasive system design. And the definition says it all, right? It's about designing software specifically to change what you think and what you do. That goal is baked right into the code from day one. So what's the most powerful way they do this? Well, the best analogy is a slot machine. Just think about it for a second. If a slot machine paid out every single time you pulled the lever, you'd get bored. If it never paid out, you'd walk away. It's the unpredictability, the maybe this time, that keeps you hooked. And our apps are just full of these slot machine levers. Every time you pull down to refresh your feed, that's pulling the lever. Will I get a like, a message, a comment? It taps directly into our deepest human needs for social approval. And then, of course, you have the endless scroll. There is no bottom to the feed. There's no natural stopping point that lets you ask yourself, hey, is this actually what I want to be doing right now?
Okay, I know, that was a lot, and it can sound pretty bleak. But the goal here is not to despair. The goal is to understand how the system works so we can start to counteract it. Because even though these are massive problems, building our own personal resilience is a really powerful form of resistance. We can actually choose to build a different kind of mindset from the inside out.
So Neil Pasricha has this really simple framework for doing that. He calls it the 3 A's of awesome. The first A is attitude. Just realizing that the lens you look at the world through actually changes the world you see. The second A is awareness.
trying to see things with fresh eyes, kind of like a little kid does, noticing the small, cool things around you. And the third A is authenticity, which is all about being your true self, because that's the only way to have real, genuine connections.
So, how do you actually practice this stuff? Here is a beautifully simple little game you can try. At the end of the day, you name 2 roses, 2 good things that happened, 1 thorn, 1 challenge you dealt with, and 1 bud, something you're looking forward to. It sounds so simple, but doing this every night literally trains your brain to scan the world for positive things, and that can change your whole perspective over time.
Okay, so with that more intentional mindset as our foundation, let's get into some super concrete, actionable things you can do to wrestle back control of your digital life. If we use that same idea of roses and thorns, we can see that our digital world is full of thorns, right? The endless scroll, the constant push notifications, those bright, colorful icons that are literally designed to grab your eye. But we can fight back with digital roses. Simple things like turning off alerts, or one of my personal favorites, changing the color.
Okay, this is fascinating. A study out of the University of Amsterdam found that when people switched their phones to grayscale mode for just 1 week, their daily screen time dropped by about 20 minutes, on average. Not only that, they also said they felt less stressed out. By just removing those stimulating, rewarding colors, the phone suddenly becomes less of a fun toy and more of a simple tool.
So let's put it all together into a toolkit you can take with you. First, turn off all notifications that don't come from a real human being. That means no more pings from apps, just messages from your friends. Second, make your bedroom a phone-free zone. Seriously, your sleep will thank you. Pick up a physical book before bed, schedule actual time for real connection instead of just passively consuming content. And maybe the most important rule of all, you can't pour from an empty vessel. Taking care of yourself has to come first.
And all of this brings us to one final, really important question. The average person is awake for about 1,000 minutes every single day. 1,000. The entire attention economy is designed to take as many of those minutes from you as it possibly can. So the real question isn't whether you have the attention span of a goldfish, it's how are you going to choose, intentionally, to spend the precious minutes you have.